Hello, 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 my friends. My name is Evelyn Joy, and welcome back to my channel. I am pondering some things this morning. I'm thinking about the importance of being intentional. I think it's important in life to have a game plan and an idea of what you want to do. Much like having a garden. You have to plan where you want to plant. This is an analogy. You have to plan where you want to plant things and why. I planted my squash plants on one side of the house and the rest of my garden on the other side because squash plants attract bugs. And sure enough, my squash plants became overrun by squash bugs and eventually were killed off. And only just now, I'm starting to have a couple of squash bugs bothering my regular garden. So that was good planning, keeping those separate, right? So now I have to treat bugs. But I think in life, it takes intentional living, right? You can accomplish more by being intentional. I have a game plan. I have goals as a mom of what I want to teach my kids, how I want to raise them. I have goals for how much money I want to make and need to make to get by and how much I need to work in order to do that. I have intentional plans as far as I work for more than one company. That way, if something were to happen with one company, I have a backup plan, right? It's also intentional to pay attention to what you put into your body, what you're eating, how much sleep you're getting. Be intentional. It's so easy to just eat whatever, sleep whenever, and that can affect your health a lot. And that's something that I need to work on improving. So it's important to be intentional. It's also important to be intentional in the way that you treat others and talk to others. Um, be intentional in the way that you use social media. And intentional in everything that you do in 2020 with the pandemic. It's important to be intentional, to know when to go out, when it's worth the risk, what precautions to take, right? To stay safe and healthy, right? So I've been thinking about intentional living. It's it's so easy to just do whatever, right? And not be intentional about it. But when you have a game plan, when you have goals in mind, when you have a plan, when you have a schedule, when you have a list, to-do list or whatever, it's helpful. So I'm going to talk about some ways that I have done well with this and some ways that I am still learning. I have not done as well. So I think I've been intentional in the area of raising my kids. I think that I've done a good job up till this point with raising my kids and being intentional in the way that I speak to my children. Um, so I'm raising my kids to use their words and talk about their feelings. I walk away when I'm feeling frustrated. I'm teaching them to be responsible and get their own things. Like if my kids say, "Mommy, I want socks and shoes," I say, "Okay, go get your socks and shoes and bring them to me and I will help you put them on." Rather than, "Oh, you want socks and shoes? Here, let me do all the work," right? If my kids say, "Mommy, I want a cup of juice," I say, "Bring me your cup so I can wash it out and I can get you some juice." Rather than, "Oh, you want juice? Let me do everything for you." You know what I mean? If my kid says, "Mommy, I want to wear a princess dress," I'm like, "Okay, go get your princess dress and I'll help you put it on," right? So I'm intentional in that I'm teaching my kids independence a little bit. Also, problem solving. I don't quickly rush to fix my kids' problems. Um, if my children are having a quarrel, I listen to see if they're going to fix it. But if I see someone get physical and hit the other one, I'm like, nope, nope. we don't hit, not gonna happen. Turning off the TV, taking the toy away, whatever it is. Being intentional. So something that I need, so that I feel like I've done a good job being intentional with the way that I raise my kids, talk to my kids. I feel like my kids are turning out okay. They're good little human beings. But I think for myself, I need to work on being more intentional about getting enough sleep, getting exercise, and eating healthy. Okay? Because it's so easy to look outward and see others and say, oh, wow, look at that person. She definitely is not taking care of herself. Or so easy to judge others, right? And be like, oh my goodness, that person needs to get their act together. And it's sometimes we have to start with the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror, as the situation would be. So I think for me, I need to work on cutting out sugar uh, from my diet. If I were a coffee drinker, I would be cutting down on coffee. I don't drink coffee or soda, so I feel like that was a good intentional choice to not go down that path. I don't drink alcohol or smoke, so those were good intentional choices. But I do eat whatever. I eat the chocolate, guys. I do it. So I think a part of being intentional with your eating is having in your home healthy options and not purchasing unhealthy options. So what's that mean? Healthy fruits and vegetables and not processed foods, not things with high fructose corn syrup or food dyes. I need to work on eating healthier. Also, I would like to join a gym. In order to do that, I need to come up with a game plan as far as what I'm going to do for childcare or which gym I can join that may provide childcare. So it's on my to-do list to get that figured out. Now that gyms are hopefully, back open for good, hopefully, and stuff. So I'm interested in joining a gym. Or maybe taking an exercise class or something. So I need to work on being healthy because it's important to take care of your own body and take care of your own self so that you can be, so that I can be a good mom to my kids and stick around, have a longer life, right? I think it's important to speak good, not negative, to those around us. We tend to project what is coming from our own hearts. So, being intentional with paying attention to what is coming out of our mouths and what we're putting into our minds. There's a lot of people that fill their minds with horror movies or just a lot of politics. I just like how I cut out coffee and soda, I also choose not to ever watch horror movies. I mean, I've watched some in my life, but it's been a while. But I choose to not put evil into my mind. That being said, I also don't want to be blinded to what's going on in the world. I want to be up to date on world news, but also knowing limits on that. So I think I have a little bit too much filled my mind with all the negativity of what goes on in the world, and I need to cut back on media consumption. Also, being intentional about putting down your phone, especially as a parent, but really everyone, putting down your phone and being present, and being there with your kids. Sometimes I'll have my phone in the other room charging, and my kids will be like, "Mom, look at this. Take a video of this." And I'm like, "Baby, I don't have to take a picture of this." I'm like, "Baby, I don't have to take a picture or video of it. I can enjoy it in the moment." not everything has to be a video or a picture. You know what I mean? Like we can enjoy life without sharing on social media at all times, you know. So, and if you watch my channel, you know I do share a lot about my garden or if we do fun things, but we don't have to share everything, obviously. But being intentional about our consumption, again, a lot of times on my channel when I talk about things, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm talking to myself. I'm basically sharing with you guys things as I am growing up. I'm adulting. As I grow up and learn and grow as a person, I'm sharing what I'm learning. I'm not sharing because I'm awesome and perfect at it and I'm an expert at it, because that's totally not it. I'm explaining my perspective and what how I'm growing right now, what I'm learning right now. And in that way, maybe we can have a conversation. You can share with me in the comments like what you're doing to be intentional, right? Intentional living. The Christian radio station talks about intentional living a lot. Spending more time in God's word, reading the Bible, filling your mind with good things. In Philippians 4, it says, whatever is good, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So that means not filling your mind with junk, not filling your body with junk. The Bible also says whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. So I can glorify God with my body by eating a salad rather than cookies. You know, like I can make healthy choices and glorify God, because the Bible says our bodies are a temple and that we should take care of it, right? So I need to, I'm not saying this because I'm perfect at it, because I'm not, but I need to be more intentional, because it's so easy to get overwhelmed with things outside of our control. I really like the serenity prayer that says, Lord, help me to accept the things I cannot change. Sorry, Lord, give me the wisdom to accept the things I cannot change. Um, no, I said that wrong. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the strength to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't fix this world, but I can fix the way that I treat others, and that's a piece of the world. So it's like, may there be peace. May there be peace in the world, and may it begin with me. You know, like I'm working on the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. There's a few songs that talk about self-care before trying to fix the whole world. You gotta start with yourself, right? And I'm there. That's what, is in my mind thinking about that this morning. Learning to meal plan, learning to shop, thinking of healthy meals for my family. I'm not good at that, guys. Not gonna lie, I'm not good at that. I need to be better. Just saying. Let me read what you're saying. Eat chocolate with more cacao percentage, like 55%, and increase your taste buds. Adjust to less sugar. Oh, I like that. Very good. Yes. In our home, we eat too much chips. We eat too much desserts, and we need to cut back and do more veggies. Our home is very good at eating. We're good at eating fruits and vegetables. But we could get better at that even more so. I was thinking actually, being intentional about food. For example, when I was pregnant with Esther, I craved Gala apples. So I ate them all the time. And I really didn't hardly gain much weight with that pregnancy, because I was craving healthy things, right? So I think if I make it like a goal to eat an apple a day keeps the doctor away, start off my day eating an apple. Also change my mentality. My mentality about fruits and vegetables. I obviously value my kids a lot, and so sometimes I'll buy 2 containers of strawberries and I'll cut them up for my kids. And even though I really like strawberries, I'm like, oh, I want there to be enough for them, they can have the strawberries. But the thing is, like, I can have strawberries too, like, I give blueberries to my kids because I like blueberries and it's healthy, but I don't necessarily eat them because I want my kids to have enough. It I need to change my way of thinking. I used to never buy salad because I felt like a bag of salad was too expensive and I didn't want it to go to waste if I wasn't able to eat it all in time before it got bad. Well, now I buy bags of spinach, and sometimes I do throw some away if it goes bad because it's nasty when it gets old. But spinach is pretty affordable, especially at Aldi. And now that, when I eat salads and spinach and stuff, my kids see that and they're like, Mom, I want a bowl of spinach, especially my Deborah. Deborah's a picky eater, but she will straight up ask if she knows there's spinach and ranch in the refrigerator. She'll ask me for spinach and ranch for a snack. Seriously, I kid you not. My picky eater loves spinach, and my kids love like fresh broccoli. So I think I need to buy fresh broccoli more often, and I need to eat some too. Um, so, and I can sit there and eat a lot of broccoli. It's good. So I need to adjust my taste buds. And I also need to make exercise a priority. I also need to make sleep a priority. Because when you live every day totally exhausted, you don't get as much done. And I think that's a big problem that I have. So I think I need to work on adjusting my kids' bedtime to earlier. I've been having a real struggle with my baby lately. We'll say we start bedtime at 9 p.m. I get my kids to sleep. They're fully asleep in their beds by 10, and my baby will not go to sleep until like 11 or 11:30, and I'm exhausted. It's too much. So I'm working on cutting back on letting the baby nap during the day. Like, he can have like a morning nap, but not like too late of an afternoon nap because then he won't sleep as well at night. So working on adjusting all of that, but just being intentional, because okay, I need to lose weight, but it's not just that I need to lose weight, because a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I want to look good, I want to lose weight, so then they like get an eating disorder. It's not that. I don't want to focus on the number on the scale because I don't want to go down that path of like possible bad choices. I want to focus on eating healthier and stuff. So anyway, I'm sharing this with you guys so that you can let me know in the comments, what things do you want to be more intentional about in 2020? We are halfway through this year, and I definitely planned on exercising more than this. I didn't plan on pandemic, that's for sure. But yeah. What do you want to do more intentionally? How can you live more intentionally? Choosing to speak life over others and speak good words and speak positively to others. And I was thinking about too the way that we raise our kids, because yesterday I talked about the importance of communicating love to your students, to your children, to your husband. I think it's also important to not just communicate love, but also have a uh, I avoided using the word discipline in the title of this video, but I think I'm going to talk about discipline a little bit. And a lot of that I already have been talking about. It's called self-discipline. So being self-disciplined means kind of like in that serenity prayer when it says, give me the courage and the strength to change the things I can, right? So there are things in our lives that we should change. Less screen time, more vegetables, less sugar, less salt, more exercise, more sleep, less screen time. Did I say screen time enough? Less screen time, less screen time, less screen time, more family time. Um, having strong control over spending habits and being wise with your money and how much you work and all of that. All of it. You can be intentional all areas of your life, right? What you fill your brain with. What do you watch? What do you listen to? What are you filling your mind with? And in being self-disciplined, kids aren't good listeners. They're good imitators. When I heard that quote, it was like a stab in the heart because it's like, oh my goodness. How often do I tell my kids, you are not listening to me? And how often are they just in imitating my own bad habits of losing my temper or being disorganized or having too much screen time? The things that my kids struggle with are imitations of myself and an unfortunate reflection of myself. So, keeping in mind that kids are not good listeners, they're good imitators. And so, working on myself first because my kids are going to imitate that. Just like how Deborah loves spinach because she started off seeing me eating spinach. It was like, this is mommy's spinach because I don't think you guys will like it. And then they're like, they all want to eat out of my bowl. So they try it and they're like, oh, we want spinach on our plates too. How fun is it to eat leaves? Apparently more fun than I thought, right? So my friend Luann is in the chat box. She said, spending time intentionally with people that I care about. It is easy to take people for granted. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. I feel like my kids are growing up super fast. So just being intentional with spending time with them. And teaching them to be kind, to take turns, to love each other, to not fight. These are important life skills, right? And it's okay to cry when you're sad or hurt, but you don't need to throw a tantrum just because you don't like something. You can choose to use your words. So teaching my kids that and also doing that myself. Did you know adults throw tantrums sometimes? It's true. We call it getting our buttons pushed. But yeah, just intentional living. That's what I've been thinking about lately. Just being more intentional. Tell me in the chat box or in the comments below, how are you going to be more intentional with your life? What do you need to work on? Are you consuming too much media? You know what? In 2020, I've found out that a bunch of the stuff on the news is just a bunch of lies anyway. So what's the point in worrying about it when everybody has their political agenda they're trying to put across, right? And they just want to manipulate you for their political gain. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. So, yeah, Luann writes, kids become adults in the blink of an eye. People used to say that, and now I know it's true. Yeah, I think homeschooling is a huge advantage because if I were to send my kids to school, I would blink and I would have missed half of their childhood because they're more than half because they're at school most of their waking hours. And so choosing to homeschool, I'm choosing to be able to be a part of their education, which I never thought I would be a homeschooler, but now I totally want to love it. Of course, I'm just starting off, so who knows? But I think it's wonderful to be able to not have to send my kids off to learn, but to be able to teach them at home, so that when they grow up, I got to be a part of their education. I got to be a part of who they became as an adult. They are little people turning into big people quickly every day. And it's awesome because my kids learn from each other. I'm teaching Esther, reading, writing, math, piano, Spanish, cooking, gardening, and her younger siblings want to do it just because it's this awesome thing their big sister does with mommy. So they're like learning to read at a really young age, and they're learning like piano, and they know Spanish and learning about the garden. It's so funny because I set up like a slide and swing and porch swing and playhouse so that they can be playing while I'm in the garden gardening. And they would rather come over and help me pick tomatoes or help me water the garden than be playing on the play equipment. I'm like, what is this? Kids love to be with their parents and do what their parents are doing. So me being intentional will rub off on them. And how mind-blowing is it that the Lord has entrusted me with 4 little lives? Wow. And they are so precious. So yeah, just being intentional. Anyway, we're going to go to church today. So it's awesome. It's one of the only places we go during quarantine. But we, mask up, and the kids go to their individual Sunday school classes. And in Deborah's Sunday school class, they get to take the masks off and use hand sanitizer and kind of social distance. In the other 2 classes, they keep their masks on, like Joshy's class and Esther's class. They keep their masks on and they use hand sanitizer. Then I actually go to the nursing room, which has a TV where you can see everything. And there's no other moms that go to the nursing room where you can nurse your baby. There's like 8 rocking chairs in there, but I'm the only one during this service that goes in there. And so I'm just in there with my baby, feeding my baby and watching the sermon. So that's how I social distance. And sometimes my husband comes with me if there's nobody else in there. So it's kind of nice that we can go to church. And, really like in 2020, being able to go to church is a huge blessing. So yeah, my heart goes out to churches in California that are being being persecuted and having to go through legal battles just to meet. It's sad. So anyway, being more intentional about reading the Bible, praying, spending time with my children, and just appreciating the good things in life. Hey, Stephanie. Stephanie, how old are your children? Yes. And Luann, how old are your children now? So my kids we're going to be doing a co-op. I'm so excited about it. Starting September 28th. Every Monday, we're going to have a half day of school at a homeschool co-op. So it's going to be at a church, and the moms are the teachers, and hopefully it'll be super awesome, right? So since it's Sunday morning, I'm going to flip in my Bible. I've got my Bible right here. I'm going to flip in my Bible over to Philippians 4. Philippians is the first book of the Bible that I read as a camper because I was like 10 years old, and another camper told me that she read the whole book of Philippians because it's only a few chapters, and I was like, wait, what? I want to read a whole book of the Bible. Let me do that too, right? So, and it's real encouraging. Philippians is actually written by Paul while he's in prison, but it's called the Book of Encouragement. So he's writing to encourage the church in Philippi, and he, when you think of the perspective of he's in jail writing this, it adds another layer to him talking about anxiety, talking about contentedness, because he's writing from prison, right? Hi. One moment. I have a little one coming. Hello. Would you like to come in? Okay. You don't have to fuss. You want to sit with me? Come here, baby. How'd you get so grown up? How you get so grown up? Hi, buddy. Are you tired? Okay, so we're going to read this. Philippians 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. I say it again. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, if anything is of good report, if there's any virtue, if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. Very good. So that there's a lot to unpack there. So that's Philippians 4 through 9. And it's a powerful passage. And every time that I hear the word anxious or anxiety, I just think of Philippians 4, and I think Paul wrote about anxiety from prison, and he said, be anxious for nothing. And I've never been to prison. He knows more about what you can be anxious about than I do, right? And so be anxious for nothing. Rejoice in the Lord always. It doesn't mean always be happy, but always be joyful. Joy is different than happiness. How is joy different than happiness? Happiness is circumstantial. I woke up on the right side of the bed. I'm not sick. I feel happy today. People are being kind to me. Joy is different. Joy is that peace and happiness that only comes from the Lord. When I was 10 years old, I began a personal relationship with the Lord. And before that, I had been a pretty depressed little kid. And after that, the circumstances were the same. My home was still broken. There were still bullies that were mean to me at school. But what changed in me was joy. That's why I changed my middle name to Joy, declaring over myself, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Joy is something that comes from the Lord. Joy, it means in those circumstances, even though those circumstances didn't change for me right away, I no longer was depressed. I felt joy in the midst of difficult circumstances. Cindy Bennett said, good morning, great verses. Hey, friend. Stephanie said, yeah, being more intentional, reading the Bible, praying, spending time with my children. Very good. And appreciating good things in life. Yeah. Being thankful is another thing. Counting your blessings. There's a song that says, count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Okay, let's read what Elizabeth George has to say in my devotional Bible today. It says, mind your mind. Are you constantly thinking negative thoughts? This goes right along with what I'm talking about. Hello, Deborah. Are you constantly thinking negative thoughts? Do you second guess what others say? I'm sorry, baby. My arms are full.
Mommy, can we get the Peppa Pig toys outside?
You can go get your Peppa Pig toys and play with them, okay? Not the ones that are outside. You may not go outside without Mommy. But you can get the ones in the living room and the ones in the bathroom.
Deborah went to go check in the window if there was any Peppa Pig toys outside, and she saw some, and she told me that there's Peppa Pig toys outside. And I went to go look, and I didn't see any. But I said, Mommy, I want to sit down next to you.
Okay. You may sit with me, but I'm reading the Bible right now. You guys want to hear me read the Bible? says, are you constantly thinking negative thoughts? You may not touch my microphone. You may not touch my microphone, ma'am. Stop. Deborah. Oh, golly. Oh, golly. Stop touching the microphone, okay? Don't. Don't touch it.
Mommy,
Are you going down? You have messy hair, my love. We need to brush your hair today.
no. Mommy,
Okay, can I read?
Mommy.
Elephant.
Mommy.
Zebra.
Mommy.
Yes.
Alligator.
May I help you? Yeah. Today's Sunday. We're going to church today. Do you guys want to go get your dresses on for church?
Mommy,
Ow!
what's this?
Ow! That really hurt, baby. Don't do that. That's rude. Don't pinch me with a toy. That's me.
Can Dad bring me her Elsa and Anna dresses there?
We're not wearing Elsa and Anna dresses. You guys have a lot of good church dresses, and Abuela just buy you some. We'll wear Elsa and Anna dresses to your birthday party, and we'll wear them when we get home. But your Elsa dress is too big to walk at church, baby. Okay. Can I read?
What?
Are you constantly thinking negative thoughts?
No.
Do you second guess what others say? Do your thoughts lead you to anger or depression or any other destructive emotions? Be a woman after God's own heart. Being a woman after God's own heart is all about minding your mind. To live out God's plan for your busy life with passion and purpose, you must harness the 10,000 plus thoughts that pass through your mind each day. Your mind has to be disciplined for God's purposes.
Mommy, Joshy brought all your class toys. All your animals that's in the box.
I know. Chill.
No. That's home to me. Did you let him play with them? No.
Yes.
No. Did you let him?
He can play with them for 5 minutes and then bring them back.
No.
Stop.
Deborah, come on, let's go play with the castle.
Go play with your Peppa Pig castle.
Mommy,
What?
Stop doing with me.
To live out God's plan for your busy life with passion and purpose, you must harness the 10,000 thoughts that pass through your mind each day. Your mind has to be disciplined for God's purposes and His glory. That is a tall challenge. God's word comes to our rescue. The Bible says to meditate on these things that are true, noble, pure, lovely, virtuous, and praiseworthy. Read Philippians 4:8 again and again. Say it out loud over and over. Meditate on it. And most of all, use it to harness your thoughts so that they are godly thoughts. Lord, and it has a prayer here. Lord, I need a major change in the area of my thoughts. Thank you for your instruction and for pointing out the many positive, gracious, godly things you desire me to think on. Help me to renew my mind according to your word. Amen. So read the Bible in a year. You can read Philippians, which is just a few chapters. How many chapters is Philippians? Philippians is just 4 chapters. You can read it today, right? All right.
Mommy.
No, we're not. Thank you. No, thanks with that. All right. Hey, hello, Katie. All right. So that Esther and Meredith and Katie and Stephanie and Luann, thank you guys so much for coming. We're not putting makeup on me. I already have makeup on. Thank you. I'm going to church today. I don't want you marking all over my face, kiddo. Let's save that for later, baby girl. You want to say bye-bye?
No.
I need to brush your hair.
No.
Are you going to brush my hair? I love you.
I love you too.
Are you being a good girl?
Yeah.
Are you my sweetheart?
Yeah.
Are we going to go to church today?
Yeah.
Do you like your Sunday school class?
Yeah.
Last week, she made was it last week? or the week before. One of these weeks, she made a vest, and they colored it to look like they were learning about Joseph and his colored coat, right? So she made one out of
And then he
paper
put it,
bag.
And Mommy, then he put him in jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he tell Jesus, and then he pray about Jesus.
Oh, he prayed about Jesus
Yeah,
when he was in jail.
yeah. And Jesus helped him.
Jesus helped him. That's just like what I was reading about was Paul, that he was praying about Jesus when he was in jail. I'm sure that people really enjoyed you yelling in there.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
And something was going on.
Yeah.
Joseph hanging by a dinosaur.
Okay, we're going to say goodbye now.
No, 1 more minute. And then you can come down.
Okay, we're going to go downstairs. Ready?
No.
Are we going to go have some breakfast before church? Can you guys still hear me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Because I disconnected the microphone so she wouldn't be screaming in it. Can you hear me? Did it connect to a different microphone or is it no? Yeah, you can still hear me? Okay, cool. Didn't know if it would automatically connect to something else. Hey, you, hi, ooh, ah, ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ee, ooh, ee, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah. Do you want something? Oh, thank you for a kiss. Do you want something super special from me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to give you something super special.
Mm.
It's a heart sticker. Oh, tickle.
I'm going to put on you.
I need to brush your hair.
I'm going to put on you.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go. All right, let's go downstairs. Come on, baby. Thank you so much. We're going to go to church today.
No.
And I hope you guys have a lovely day.
Where is the light?
Where is the light? I don't know, baby.
It's here.
Okay. Oh, you turned off my light? Bye.
Mommy, are you coming?
Yes, I'm coming.